At the beginning of the year, a dear friend of ours asked us if she could celebrate her birthday party at her cabin. She wanted some peace and some quiet, and the thought of spending some time around a fire with just a few friends was really appealing to her. It was an honor to think that someone would like to celebrate at our place, because it gave them a sense of peace. Here in the mountain, with the snow surrounding us, the company of a few birds and the water flowing in the stream, we feel at home, and to our friends, our home is always open. Rare occasion on which we have some friends over, and well, the snow is here, so it's a good thing. And we're not really into entertaining people usually, but they asked to come over, and we like to have those few friends when we come. The weather is super nice, you can see it. We had the nicest time, and the few days we got to spend together went by so fast. Then February came, the first glimpses of the changing season. Snow still lingers everywhere, but in those days, the light had a different feel to it. It pushes the darkness slowly away. Winter is still on us, but we can see the light returning. Guess I needed a reminder that winter wasn't done with us yet. I had the brilliant idea of breaking my right foot. It was not so much about the pain or knowing it would take forever to get back on my feet. It was more the feeling that suddenly I had to stop. My life is so much about doing. Taking care of everything, the house, my daughter, the dogs. Suddenly, all of that had to change. I had so much time on my hand, and the only thing I had to do was taking care of myself. I decided to put my time to use and tackle a few subjects I never had the time to explore. I ended up reading even more than I usually do, and I'm pretty much of a book nerd. I decided to try something, let's say, different, starting with a book called Digital Minimalism by Carl Newport. It's about the use of social media and smartphones, and it's a very interesting debate on how we use technology and how much we use it. I recognize myself in the discussion. Sometimes we end up scrolling on phones just to pass the time, and at the end of the day, that half an hour, or even more could have been used in a more productive way. I decided to make a change in my habit, and I started with deleting my Instagram account. I had an Instagram account I think since 2016, and at the beginning it was really fun. I had it because I'm really passionate about photography. So it was a nice place where I could see other people working with photography, and it was really interesting. I could get some inspiration, I could see some great work done by others, and it was a nice place to really just spend a little bit of time and see good things. But I realized by the passing of time that the way that Instagrams or other social media steals your attention is really scary, because you end up at the end of the day that you've lost so much time just scrolling for things that you didn't even know that you liked, because it was not about photography anymore. On my feed there were videos of people doing things and other subjects. They were not really into my interest, but they were there. So you ended up, it's gonna be just, a clip is gonna be 2 seconds, so I'm gonna look at it. And then I realized by reading the book that actually these clips, especially the stories, they are made so short because our capacity of focusing has shortened up so much in the last years, in like the last 20 years. So we went from 13 seconds of attention, of span of attention, to like 8. And if I don't remember wrong, a goldfish has 9 seconds of attention span. So I thought that was really, really something scary. And I decided that Instagram was not good for me. And by saying this, I'm not absolutely trying to convince anybody that they have to delete their social account of any kind. I had like a Facebook account 10 years ago. I had a Twitter account 10 years ago. And then I just delete all of those because they were not really serving me for any purpose. But I'm not saying that anybody has to be so drastic. That I'm saying this was good for me. That was my choice. I realized that my focus was not on the things that I loved, but it was rather on scrolling on the phone, even on the news. So it's not just about social accounts, it's the way that we use phones and smartphones. And for some reason, and I wouldn't be able to explain you what is that reason because I don't really know it, we don't do as much scrolling on the computer as much as we do on a smartphone. So I decided to reduce my use of the smartphones and all those devices. And I'm just using my computer for writing and for editing photography right now. And I try to be more conscious of whatever I'm searching on the internet. And as I said, I'm not saying that you have to delete any of your account. If they work for you, if you're able to pay attention to those accounts without being taken away from other things, then well, I'm happy for you. I realized I wasn't able to do that because even if it was half an hour, my mind would be spinning around those things. I was scrolling, I would look at things, and then when I'm thinking about a word and it doesn't come up to my mind immediately, the first thing I think is like grab the phone, search on the phone, and that's not really helpful for my mind because it makes my thoughts lazy. My ability to use my brain very, very slow and not on point. And I wanted to focus on writing, on poetry, on photography without being distracted. And so that book really helped me because it's not really about talking. It's not really talking about putting everything away. It's about minimalism. So reducing the use that you do of your things and using smartphone, computers, social account with more consciousness. So you are, when you use them, you are there and you realize that you have decided to use half an hour to scroll on Instagram. You use half an hour and that's it. So it was an interesting thing. And I think the funniest part was that at the end, when I decided to delete the account, and it took me like a few tries of a few months, I had so many mixed feelings. Besides, they are very smart on this social platform because when you decide to delete the account, they give you a month to change your mind. It's like, you sure you want to do this? Because, you can always come back. You have a whole month to get back on it. And that was funny for me because it's like they never give you the chance to do something permanently straight on. You always have to, you're sure about it? Think about it and come back. And that's another thing that I didn't really like. And you realize that only when you try to get out. So it was a leash. It was a leash on my neck and I just decided to get rid of it. But as I said, I'm not judging anybody using it, and if somebody else is using it properly and they have benefits from it, just go for it. It was my choice and it helped me. And I have to thank my broken leg for that because I had the time to actually read about how smartphones affect our brain. And if I didn't have a broken leg, I wouldn't have being on those books, so I wouldn't have found out all this information I found out. And it's not about conspiracies and things like that. It's just about information. They are out there. These are scientific studies about it. And when you think about the big gurus of computer technologies like Gates, Zuckerberg, well, those are the people that don't use social media. So that made me think even more that maybe there was something wrong with it. So for me, that was the choice. And well, if you're curious about the debate, well, I suggest you try the book, because it can change your point of view pretty much. And it's not a life lesson, or nobody's saying anything that you have to do after you read the book, but it can help you decide to maybe have a different point of view on the matter. A simple change, like deleting an account, gave me the time to do some simple things, slow things, like candle making. Candle making is all about waiting. You melt the old wax, you pour it carefully in a chosen container, like a jar or whatever you like, and then you wait. It's just about time and patience. I believe in using technology as a tool, not being used by it. And that is why I still use YouTube, the only platform I still work on, besides blogging. YouTube holds in my mind a different status. The speed of the platform is way slower, and the pressure I feel from it is almost none. Especially since I'm a nobody in a world of storytelling. I can post when I feel like I'm ready, and I don't need to rush. That way I can actually post when what I will deliver is worthy of sharing. It's a way to communicate with others without being in a hurry. A broken leg showed me I needed a slower approach. No walking means no way to film anything, no way to get material to work on, so time was the only law I had to follow, and time said I had to wait. YouTube allows you to do that. So here I am, 2 months later, back on the saddle. Not really much of a walker yet, but on the way of getting better, and much more focused. So after all, bad things don't always happen to make your life miserable. Sometimes they just give you the chance to have a different perspective. If you want to hear more about my ramblings over social media, slow living, and what we do in our lives, head on to my blog. Leave a comment or a message and we can share our opinions. You can find the link in the home page. Hope everyone is having a great and insightful year so far. I love to hear your thoughts, so if you'd like to leave a comment, I would be really grateful. Hope to see you again. Until then, take care.